So one of the first revealed trailers, or I would say gameplay trailers for the Division 1 showed something that was very interesting. It was a sequence where you had these players trying to play a mission and a buddy of theirs dropped into the game using a mobile device to control a drone to help provide them a little bit of support, aerial support to be specific. Now, we never got that implemented in the Division 1 game. In fact, we didn't even get that gameplay quality in the Division 1. So that gameplay sequence that they showed, in my opinion, was a gameplay sequence that they had, but not a gameplay sequence that they delivered. It's one of those things where back in the day, Ubisoft used to make these very, outlandish, wonderful gameplay trailers, which some people have claimed are probably just, animated and, produced or recorded. But I genuinely think these actually are gameplay sequences from the very best version of the game using high class animations. Pretty much nothing has been compressed much and just showing you the very best potential of a game. But the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One wasn't going to handle that trailer, so they basically delivered this that you're seeing on the screen basically to us. Now, this is the Division 1. This is playing on the PC. I'm running through survival. But I thought that it was interesting to revisit this mechanic, not just because I wanted to just talk about something that never happened, but because now the developers have put on their window or timeline that they are interested in bringing a Division mobile game. From the business and financial perspective, my thoughts are because they've gotten some investment dollars from a company that is very keen on seeing a lot of mobile games. I'm not going to mention any names in this video. I think they want to also kind of delve into that mobile game space and kind of hedge a portion of the market. But a lot of Division players, to my own knowledge anyways, are not necessarily interested in a Division mobile game of any sort, especially if they don't know if it's going to provide any value or any kind of, I would say, input to their regular gameplay progress. And so this is, in my opinion, a very core aspect of whatever this mobile game is going to bring to the table. Now, I know Ubisoft Massive is just probably, in my opinion, at this point, just tossing spaghetti to the wall to see if it's going to stick. And so I might as well just maybe make a few statements that could possibly help them because, to be very honest, I'm not going to pick up a mobile device and play a Division game. I would rather just sit there with my wife while she plays maybe Candy Crush or Tetris, or whatever it is. But to pick up a mobile device and then start to try to, take out enemy NPCs is just not something that I think I have the time to cut out for. But nonetheless, if they were to find a way to bring in maybe a player like me or other players like me into this so-called mobile universe, there are things that can be done to at least make us download the app. And this is something that a lot of Division players have been asking for a long, long time. And that is something that looks like the Destiny app, which is an app that you can actually use to modify and even reorganize your stash, your vault, or whatever it is. Stash size and inventory management is a big thing in Tom Clancy's The Division 2. In fact, one really interesting thing that you're going to notice is a lot of agents, in my opinion anyways, will tell you that they would like from time to time to just be able to organize their inventory or at least have some kind of a graphical representation of that inventory while they're away from their game. In fact, for those who walk around all day thinking about build identity, they can pretty much use that to find ways to make very cool builds and actually theory craft if they really did want to, or at least look through and see things that they would want to farm whenever they get back into the live game. This is a very, very huge quality of life feature that I think if they were to add it, at least people would download this mobile app. And it will not necessarily be because or not because of some mobile game that's being added to the Division universe. And I think that's where you're going to see value. Now, if they want to go ahead and tie it to some other kind of, mobile segment of the game where you can maybe do whatever the heck it is that they want you to do on a mobile Division version game. And maybe at that point, if you finish managing your inventory and you're sitting there during lunch break, on a, basically drinking a Capri Sun, or I don't know what y'all do for lunch break. I don't don't do anything. I just work during my lunch breaks at work. But, you can pretty much just kind of, get in that action or whatever it is and just engage in that content if you wish to. And if you don't wish to, you can pretty much, like I said, kind of look through the things that you're looking for in your inventory and things that you want to farm later on when you maybe get off work or get a few minutes or a few hours to be able to go for some farming runs. And that's one of the really cool things about this. In fact, the division right now, its structure and its current scale really does support a lot of that. You can look on the map and you can see the daily drops. There's so many things that could go into this kind of a mobile support system. And then another thing that also could be done as a nod to the division community is to probably implement that feature where you can get into a combat sequence with your friends and provide them some drone or aerial support. Yes, I believe that Massive Ubisoft probably had the blueprint and intention for this particular system before the game was released. I think in the original plan for the Division 1, they really did want to do something like that. They really wanted to bring this to light, and I think it would have really changed the entire gaming industry if they were able to deliver something like this. But at that time, the gaming world was still under severe limitations. As many have described the PlayStation 4 consoles and the Xbox One consoles, they've basically called them old school laptops of their time. And so they weren't even at the power or the power level of what a computer of 2013 could really maximize. Now that we have the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, I see something that can be implemented in that sense, and potentially even for the new Division Heartland game. And yes, even though the Heartland game may be on the older consoles, today's day and age, we have a lot more knowledge on technical optimization as well. This is something that, whenever we talk about, say, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is probably not going to be able to handle specific loads of content, I also want to try to give room, because now, I'm learning more and more about this game development thing, that optimization is something that game development studios are getting better at. So even a lot of this so-called next-gen launches are going to have their PlayStation 4 and Xbox launches that are actually running very well without any complaints. And the reason those are running well without complaints is because the development teams are capable of actually delivering the same experience on, the old generation consoles. Now, yes, they're not going to get 60 FPS on most of those games, but 60 FPS is not too difficult to achieve on an older console. You're just going to be limited with how much content you can put, and even if you don't have the capability of getting 60 FPS or high quality, there's still some tricks that you can do with some consoles like the PlayStation 4 and even the Xbox One. So this is not really a big deal. If you played the game The Order 1887, you know exactly what I mean. That game launched with the PlayStation 4, and it looks way better than many games that come out on the PS5 because it was an in-house engine, and they just used a lot of the different tricks and techniques that they could to harness the engine. If you've played The Last of Us, the first one, you can also see as well that also harnessed the power of the PlayStation 4. And then there are also some other games on the Xbox that also did the same thing. So this is something that, is not out of the question for that. But again, I just made this video just to mention these aspects in terms of what you as a Division agent would like to see if you will ever touch a Division mobile app or mobile device, or a mobile device to play a Division game. What would draw you into it? Because already I know that more than likely you're going to say nothing, but these features that I've mentioned, the ability to join a live mission with your team, the ability to be able to do your inventory management, the ability to be able to see things like the map and look at loot drops, are these things enough? And they're Ubisoft. If you're listening to this video, if someone is listening to this video, please make sure that you're trying to prioritize this stuff in order to increase the player base of a potential Division game. And maybe they already have something like this in the works, then good for them. But if not, I don't know, maybe it will serve another audience. I don't want to write it off just yet, but I don't know if it's right now for our Division audience, because our Division audience is looking forward to very, very different and drastic things being added to the game, like PvP potential content, new content coming down the road for the Division 2, potentially even the Heartlands game and what that's about. And so those things are on the priority list of other people. And I see that, this mobile game may suffer if it doesn't have any way to actually have an intersection of all of these things put together. But I'll talk to you guys in another video. Thank you so much for your time and audience. I appreciate you guys so much. Peace out.